hidden paradox of intimacy. When most of us hear the word intimacy, the mind jumps straight to romance, to sex, to closeness, to candlelight conversations or late-night confessions. But if you've been around long enough, you know intimacy has very little to do with proximity and everything to do with presence. The truth? Almost everyone says they want intimacy, but most of us are terrified of what it actually demands. We crave closeness, but we hide behind masks. We want to be loved, but we're afraid to be seen. We claim to desire deep connections, but we settle for shallow conversations, distractions, and performance. And here's where Stoicism enters the picture. The Stoics taught that strength is not about showing off, nor about collapsing in self-pity. True strength is quiet, calm, enduring. It's the ability to carry your hardships with dignity, without demanding the world validate you at every turn. And here's the paradox. That exact inner strength, the ability to endure, to stay grounded, to resist the pull of desperation, is also the foundation of intimacy, because intimacy doesn't grow out of neediness. It grows out of presence. So in this deep dive, we're going to explore what intimacy really is, why most of us sabotage it without realizing, and how Stoic principles can help us finally build a kind of intimacy that doesn't collapse at the first sign of discomfort. What is intimacy, really? Before we go too far, let's strip the word intimacy down to its bones. Intimacy isn't simply being close to someone. It's not even about knowing someone's history or their secrets. True intimacy is the act of being present with another human being in an undefended state, while also allowing them to be present with you in their undefended state. It means you're not hiding behind an image. You're not curating what parts of you are acceptable. You're not performing strength while secretly crumbling inside. And you're not unloading your suffering to manipulate sympathy. Instead, intimacy is a courage to be real, to let another person see not just your polished exterior, but also the parts of you you'd rather edit out. And at the same time, to offer them the same space, to see them in their rawness without judgment. This is why the Stoics matter. Because the Stoic practice of self-discipline and resilience is not about shutting people out. It's about being able to stand so firmly in your own center that you can meet another person without masks, without games, without the fear that their judgment will destroy you. The 3 levels of connection. To understand why intimacy feels so rare, let's borrow a model often used in authentic relating, and then reframe it through Stoicism. Level 1, the informational level. This is where most human interaction lives. You exchange facts, events, schedules. Where do you work? What did you do today? How's the weather? Even when it's personal, it's surface. You can tell me you went to the gym, cooked dinner, watched a movie, but you're not telling me anything about you. The Stoic lens? This is survival talk. It's the realm of the external. Epictetus would say this is all indifference, things outside your control. It's not intimacy, it's logistics. Level 2, the personal level. Here you start sharing feelings and subjective reactions. I went to work today, and honestly, I felt frustrated. My coworker ignored my input again, and it made me feel small. Now we're getting somewhere. You're letting me peek inside your mind. But even here, you've filtered it. You're telling me about emotions past, not the ones you're experiencing with me right now. Stoics would recognize this as a level where impressions, fantasiae, begin to appear. You're interpreting your experiences, but you still have control over how you present them. You're letting me see a piece of you, but only the parts you pre-approved. Level 3, the relational level. This is where true intimacy is born. It's not about the past, it's about the present. It's the courage to say, as I'm telling you about work, I notice my chest tightening. I'm worried you might judge me as weak. Part of me wants to impress you, to make you think I'm competent. And even admitting that out loud makes me feel embarrassed. That's raw. That's risky. That's intimate. It's also deeply Stoic, because the Stoic practice isn't about pretending you don't feel. It's about observing your impressions, naming them, and meeting them with courage. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. That doesn't mean deny your experience. It means face it, endure it, and share it without dramatizing. This is where intimacy blooms. In the honesty of the present moment, undefended, resilient. Why most of us run from intimacy? If intimacy is so beautiful, why do so few of us live in it? Because intimacy is terrifying. It asks us to step into a space where rejection, judgment, or misunderstanding could actually wound us. And our default defense systems kick in. The performer mask, you try to impress. You want to be seen as charming, successful, desirable. But when you're performing, you're not being known. You're selling an image. The victim mask, you seek pity. You overshare wounds, hoping sympathy will create closeness. But that's not intimacy either. It's dependency disguised as vulnerability. The avoider mask, you keep everything surface. You'd rather stick to small talk and safe topics than risk exposure. But shallow water never grows deep roots. From a Stoic perspective, all three mask the same thing: fear of impressions. We fear the stories others might tell about us, so we armor ourselves with performance, with oversharing, or with avoidance. But the Stoics remind us, other people's judgments are not in our control. What's in our control is our willingness to stand calmly, undefended, and meet the present moment as it is. The key ingredient we miss: curiosity. Here's where most of us fail at intimacy. We forget the single most powerful tool for deepening connection: curiosity. Not curiosity about facts, not curiosity about gossip. Relational curiosity, the kind that leans in and says, what is it like for you to be here with me right now? That's intimacy fuel, because it invites another human to reveal their living experience, not just their history. But why don't we use this tool more often? Because true curiosity is dangerous. It might reveal something we don't want to hear. What if they don't like something about us? What if they see us differently than we fantasize? What if they expose truths we'd rather ignore? Stoicism teaches us that reality is always better than illusion. To pursue intimacy, we must prefer truth, even painful truth, over comforting lies. Epictetus again. If you want truth, you must give up comforting illusions. Curiosity requires courage, and courage is the Stoic's greatest tool, the Stoic practice of self-intimacy. Here's the part no one likes. You cannot have intimacy with others if you don't first have intimacy with yourself. Most people avoid themselves. They drown in noise, social media, entertainment, business. So they never have to sit in silence with their own mind. But if you can't face your own thoughts, how will you ever share them with another? The Stoics were relentless about self-examination. Marcus Aurelius journaled every night, confronting his own weakness and hypocrisy. Seneca urged constant reflection, asking, what passions master me today? Where did I fall? Where did I act with dignity? The Stoic path to true intimacy. At the end of the day, intimacy is not about exposure. It's about endurance. Can you endure being seen as you are? Can you endure the discomfort of honesty? Can you endure another's rawness without rushing to fix or flee? The Stoics would say, yes, endure. And in that endurance, you'll discover freedom. Because intimacy is not two desperate people clinging to each other for survival. It's two whole individuals, calm and steady, choosing to meet without masks. That is the intimacy worth building. That is the intimacy most people miss. And that is the intimacy Stoicism can help us create, the Stoic path to true intimacy. At the end of the day, intimacy is not about exposure. It's about endurance. Can you endure being seen as you are? Can you endure the discomfort of honesty? Can you endure another's rawness without rushing to fix or flee? The Stoics would say, yes, endure. And in that endurance, you'll discover freedom. Because intimacy is not two desperate people clinging to each other for survival. It's two whole individuals, calm and steady, choosing to meet without masks. That is the intimacy worth building. That is the intimacy most people miss. And that is the intimacy Stoicism can help us create.